And the greatest immigration happened in the 90s. Thousands of Russians immigrated from Russia to settle down in Israel. However, the Arabs kept their culture very close. They didn't allow any influence to come from the different cultures immigrated to the Palestinian territory to influence their beliefs, their family structure, and their orientation. They kept a kind of a wall around their culture and tradition. I was born in Nazareth to one of the largest families. Now, I say family, but actually it's a tribe. In this time, Nazareth had really like 3 major tribes. And all those that they come from small villages will come to Nazareth. They have to close themselves to one of these tribes by adopting the name. Some of them even they will buy the name. And buying the name is for protection. Tribe means in this time that they have their own rules and regulations. Even the government of Israel didn't interfere with the tribal law. They gave the chosen one in the tribe, or the eldest one, all authority, even to issue IDs. He was given a stamp from the government to stamp any document, and it would be valid. Happens that my father's house was in charge of the tribe. And our tribe was very, very large. We have 7 branches, which mean the great-grandfather has 7 children, and each child considered a branch from the tree. So they have to have representative. They will choose the eldest among them, and he will be sent representing this branch. And my father is the chief of this tribe. In order to control the whole tribe and the problems and the whole system to run smooth with no problems, they decided to create a kind of council where the elders will be sitting, the head of the tribe, the chief, will be in the middle. On the left hand side of the council and the right hand side, there will be the younger generation. And everyone has a problem, will approach them, will sit on the ground in front of everyone, and he will address his issue. He will speak about the problem. If there is a conflict between 2 persons, they will sit in front of the council, and there will be a kind of a court. And in order for this court to function, it has to work according to the teaching of Islam. So those that they are sitting in the council, they have to know precisely what is the Quran saying, what is the teaching of the Prophet of Islam is saying, what is the Sharia law is saying. They have to be educated. They were considered in the highest rank in the tribe. And us, we were looking at them with this respect. And we wished one day we would be sitting there and being a judge like them. That was the wish of every mother in the tribe, that her child one day will sit in the council. Like the Israelites, every mother wished that from her womb the Messiah will come. I was one of them. One day, I was called. And they told me, we decided to invest in you and send you to special school in order to teach you Quran, Sharia law and the teaching of Muhammad that when you grow up, you will have the seat of your father. I was so happy. I went to this school. We call it madrasa, where the imam will be sitting and he will give you just 3.5 years, the maximum 3.5 years, where you have to know the Quran by heart. Reciting every day, reading every day. And who will dare to come and he is not memorizing the verses? I studied so hard. But there was something missing. I thought maybe if I will work harder, this emptiness, this missing thing, it will be found. But there was a gap in my life. I felt this emptiness became larger and larger. I studied the Sharia law, the teaching of the Prophet of Islam. I finished Quran and learned Quran by heart. Year after year, I felt this emptiness, this gap is so big that there was no meaning in all what I am doing. I decided after my graduation to go to my family, to the tribe, to the council, and share with them my final decision. I knew the reaction of them, but I couldn't hold it. And until now, I cannot hold it. I stand and I speak to them and they get angry at me. I went and I said to them, I am so sorry. I cannot stay here anymore. I feel I need to leave. They were so mad and angry at me. They said, we invested all these years in you. We hope that you will be the chosen one. And here comes another problem, and this is culture. It wasn't about the feeling. It's not about investing on me. It was about what will our neighbors say about us? And in my culture, and you will find it in every Muslim culture, go outside, to the mosque, to the streets, wherever you go, it's not about that you are preaching the truth to them. It's about, if I will accept it, what will my neighbor say about me? And this is the status of my family. They cannot allow anyone to point on them with a finger. But I decided that I will be leaving. They said, if you will leave, we will write your name off from the tribe. I said, do it. They said, we will take your money. You know, if you come from a very wealthy family, when we talk about money, it's money. I said, take it. They said, if you will leave, you are not allowed to take anything. You are not allowed to come back here. I said, I need to find this thing that will fill the emptiness in my life. I left them. And I start going from north down to south. I have nothing with me. All what I have is a small backpack with few pieces of clothes. Days sleeping in the street, searching. Till one day I met a man. He was in trouble. I helped this man. He looked at me and he said to me, would you like to have a job by us? I said, yeah, what kind of job? He said, I own this specific hotel in this area. If you would like, I can offer you a job in the kitchen. For me, job is not enough. I need a place to sleep. They offered me also a place to sleep. So I went with him, and I went to the kitchen of this hotel. There was the chef of the kitchen. He was a Chinese man. His name was Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang, I never saw him, never ever saw him, even in the time of his sleep, he was smiling. A very powerful man, old and powerful. When he saw me, he smiled. He said to the man, you want to teach him to be a chef here by me? So he took me to the kitchen. He said to me, Mr. Ali, today we have 1,000 guests in this hotel. We need to peel potatoes. This room, you go there, there's a lot of potatoes. Prepare the potatoes to be cooked today for dinner. I never saw a kitchen in my life. Even in my father's house, I didn't know where was the place of the kitchen. That wasn't the duty of a man to be near even the kitchen. We had people for us working in the kitchen. I sat in this room and I took a knife and I started peeling the potatoes. 1, 2, and I'm looking on this mountain of potatoes in front of me, asking myself, when is the end? 12 o'clock, noon, Mr. Wang comes. Mr. Ali, what are you doing? He said, I'm peeling potatoes. He said, Mr. Ali, why you are peeling potatoes? We have a machine, just throw them in the machine. I looked at him and I said, why you didn't tell me? He said, well, you didn't ask. And it happened story after story until this man did teach me how to break my arrogance. He did teach me how to ask. He did teach me how to humble myself. But at the end, he created of me a chef. In the same time, the owner of the hotel, he did a different kind of a business, and I was involved with his business. Day after day, I discovered, I cannot share everything today with you, but I discovered that I am actually working for the Russian mafia. And decided that's not what I am seeking, because this gap in my life still like in the same size, it's still big. It's not money, it's not authority, it's not power, it's not this place. I decided to leave. So I went to him and I said to him, friend, I'm so sorry, I cannot work for you anymore. You know, when you enter this kind of business, there is just one way, there is no return. And that evening when I said to him, I want to quit, he sent some men after me trying to kill me. And they start shooting at me, but they were like standing far away. When they start shooting at me, I got injured in my legs. And from the pain, I fall on the ground and I fainted, I collapsed. I woke up and I find myself very south in Israel, in a small motel. And there the manager of the motel came to me and said to me, some men brought you here with a private doctor, they treated your wound and they paid for your stay for 6 months to stay here. Who are they? He doesn't know. Me, myself, until today, I don't know who they are. There is a problem. From one side, I cannot go back to walk in the streets because they might find me and kill me. And I cannot go back to my family because I dishonored them. This time I was sitting and thinking what to do in my life. And I remembered that my sister challenged the whole culture because she wanted to go to Europe and study. And this is another story, maybe one day you will hear it from my sister, how she succeeded as a woman to come out from this culture, to come to Europe and to study and to be a very powerful, successful woman. I remember that she is in Austria, but I have no phone number. Do you know when you are in a time of trouble, you have always to find a way, and your way always to look to the weakest link in your family. And the weakest link is the mother. No matter how angry the mother is, there is always this soft spot in her heart for her kids. So I decided to call my mother. Before I asked her, "How are you?" immediately she said to me, "Son, your sister is looking for you. This is her phone number, call her." My sister knows nothing about my life. I call my sister. My sister tells me, "Brother, you have opportunity to come to study in Austria. Are you interested?" Interested? Of course I am interested. I need a refuge place. I cannot stay here. My sister was a very clever girl in this time. All what I have is just her phone number. She gave me all instructions how to come to Austria, what to do to get to the college on the phone. For the first time I leave Israel, I fly with an airplane. In this time, the airport in Israel was so tiny. Like, the whole airport has 3 gates, 3 very tiny gates. And I land in Vienna, in Austria. And I look at this large airport. She told me, "You go out from the airport, you reach to the train station." Now, in this time in Israel, there was a train, but there was no stations. Just now, they start building the train station in Israel. Last year, we start having some train stations. I go there and I look in the train station, thousands of people. And you know, this shock, this fear from the large things that you get when you see it for the first time. She told me where to go. In Austria, the people, they hardly speak English, and my English was poor. I find the train that I have to take. She said to me, "You will get to this place. This is the name of the train station where the train will stop. You go out, and there will be a man waiting for you, and this man will take you to the college, because when you come to Austria, you have to do language school for 1 year. You have to do German school for 1 year. He will introduce you to everything there." It was a long drive. On the way, I remembered how this man will find me. How will I recognize this man when I get to this train station? After 5 hours, I hear the name, and I look out of the window. Where is the train station? The train stopped between somewhere and nowhere. There was nothing, but I hear them calling the name of the train station. So I step out, and there was just one man waiting there. This man, I see him coming and calling my name, "Wisam?" I said, "Yeah, it's me." And the first thing he does, he gives me a hug. It was the first time in my life I received a hug. I didn't know what's the meaning of a hug. Because when I grow up as a warrior. I grow up as a man who should fight for his rights. He introduced me to the college. It was summertime. Still, the students didn't arrive. This man, he had to leave back to England, to Newport College, to do his master's at this time. September, I see the students marching to this college. Every morning, I see them going to this big hall, singing loud, and every evening again marching to this hall and singing very loud. And suddenly, it's a Sabbath day, I see them all dressed so nice and marching to the biggest building at the premises. So I looked around and I asked, what's going on here? They said to me, you are here in the Seventh-day Adventist school. I said, what? What is that? They said, yeah, we are Christian and we are keeping the Sabbath. I said, Christian and keeping the Sabbath? The Sabbath kept by the Jewish. This is the way we understand. So a Muslim understands that Sabbath keeping belongs to a Jew. Don't be surprised if you speak to your friend Muslims and you tell him I keep the Sabbath, that he will be shocked. Yeah? Are you a Jew or a Christian? I said, wow. Christians, they lost the right path, what God wanted them to follow. And Jewish, they are the enemy of the Arabs. So you are twice my enemy. I went to my room and I knelt down and I prayed to Allah, praising Allah that He brought me there to convert them to Islam. And I started working hard. My plan was to change them to be Muslims. And I sat there in this room, start calling for prayers 5 times a day, opening the window, calling for prayers, reciting the Quran early in the morning, and waited. I waited day after day. No one came and knocked my door to ask me what I am doing. This is something also we do. We come every Sabbath, revival meetings. We keep waiting and waiting and waiting for our Muslim friends or whoever outside of the neighbors to come and knock our doors to ask the question, what are we doing here? Friends, we can keep waiting until Jesus will come the second time. Many of them, they desire to meet with you and hear you outside there, not inside here. But what do? Let's worship louder. Put them the volume of the microphone. Maybe they will hear us. They do hear. They know that you exist. They know that you are here. But they are waiting for you to approach them. Don't wait here. This is one of the methods when we teach on how to approach Muslim or non-Muslim in a mission work. Don't fall in the trap by waiting for them inside of the church. I tried as a Muslim and I waited, but no one came. So I went to the next level. I said, well, maybe if I will stand by the boys' dorms, they will see me. So I went out. No reaction. I started getting angry. I decided to start preaching to anyone who walks there around. But they didn't pay attention. I start getting angry and mad. I start threatening them. Islam or you go to hell. Islam or the sword. Islam or you shall die. When I start using this method, they start getting scared. And many times we try to force what we believe on others. And if they don't listen, we want to force it more and become more aggressive. And that's what we call racism or prejudice. They called my sister because my sister was there before me and she did language school. They said to her, please come and take your brother out of here. He's scaring the students. They want to run away from him. And the way I was told by my sister and others, she was begging them, please, give him a chance. Let him finish the language school. Be patient with him. And this is also what we need to do sometimes in our mission work, to be a little bit patient. Nothing comes easily. But if we have faith, the end result is assured. And tomorrow you will see some of the end results. They decided to separate themselves from me, to ignore me, not to talk to me. Again, another wrong way of doing mission work. I sat there and I was lonely. One day, here comes a woman and she asked me, how are you? I looked at her, said to her, I suppose I'm fine. Then she asked me, and how is your sister doing? I said to her, my sister? I suppose she's fine. All what I know about my sister is just the one time that I talked to her. And here she asked me, and how is her boyfriend doing? Now, when you talk to an Arab, and specifically a Muslim, never ever say that your sister has a boyfriend, because that means your sister is prostitute. That's in the culture. And this woman knew nothing about our culture. And this is another problem that we face in the mission work when we are so born for doing mission work, going out, reaching different cultures or going to different cities or countries around the world without knowing them and knowing their culture. Instead of reaching them, we lose them, but not just losing them. We can sometimes bring disaster, not just on them, on ourselves. This woman, she knew nothing about my culture. I said to her, my sister has a boyfriend? She said, yes. I felt that the ground will split now and it will swallow me out of shame. My honor, the woman is the honor of a person from my culture. She is our honor and dignity. She said, the man who brought you here from the train station is her boyfriend. His name is Roman Kulitsky. I said to her, Roman is her boyfriend? She said, yes. I said, but Roman, he is studying to be a pastor. Oh, you didn't know that your sister is Seventh-day Adventist? That for me was a day that I will never ever forget. I rushed to the phone. I called her. Sister, is that true? She said yes. I said, I have to report my family. She said, do what it pleases you. She's so calm and I am on fire. So I called my family. Maybe I was a little bit selfish in this time that I used it as opportunity to rebuild the broken bridge with my father's house. I said to them, it's emergency. I have to come back. They said to me, come. The consul was there. Was exactly in front of the house where I live today. Every morning I wake up and I see it in front of me. The first thing I see is the place. Young men sitting on the right side of the consul and on the left side. I came and I sat on the ground in front of them. And in this minute, I totally forgot the story of my sister having a boyfriend and she will marry him. I came to them telling them that my sister became a Christian. Now in Islam, if a person becomes a Christian, they give him chance to repent and come back to Islam. But if a woman tries to marry a Christian, then this is the honor of the family. There is no repentance. They will ask that this woman will be killed to save the honor of the family. They said to me, go back to your sister and we will pay all your expenses and bring her back to Islam. If she refuses, then this is your duty to save the honor of the family. Kill her and come back. I was very strong Muslim and I held on that what I believed in. I went back and I called her. Sister, this is the verdict of the family. I ask you to repent and come back to Islam, or I have to kill you. She said to me, brother, what will help me? And this was the first words from the Bible that I did learn. What will help me to gain the whole world and I will lose myself? There was a discussion between me and my sister. My sister, very calm and very angry. I went so far to challenge her and went so far telling her, we will see who has more authority, your Jesus or myself. And suddenly my sister tells me, look, I have a deal for you. What's about you finish the language school and then by the end of